Americans on patrol in Washington, D.C., the move marking a major escalation in President Trump's federal takeover of policing in the nation's capital. And now he is threatening to deploy the troops to more American cities. And
why are they showing these assless ass National Guard troops, by the way? That's crazy. Yo, the National Guard have a serious problem with a lack of ass. What's going on, man? Open up the bakeries, man. Oh my Lord, they got no ass. That's what they're showing here. I know, like, technically this is supposed to show that they have like their service weapons now on patrol, which is crazy, by the way, because that's, what are they going to do? Start killing people? That's insane. But like the real takeaway here is that they got no ass, bro. No ass, no cheeks, Hank Hill, pancake butt. We need more. The National Guard needs to start lifting, start squatting, brother. Oh my God.
States run by Democrats, including Baltimore, despite statistics from the mayor's office showing a 17% drop in violent crime from last year. The president has now fired back at Governor Wes Moore of Maryland, who invited him to Baltimore for a public safety walk. Trump responded by saying Moore needed to clean up the city's, quote, crime disaster before he would go for a walk there. The president.
Yeah, I think when he says stuff like that, you know what he's saying, right? Because like there are obviously many American cities. There are obviously many American cities that have, you know, fairly high crime rates, but like it's still relatively safe, okay? But there is one thing that I am noticing that Trump is actively targeting. It's that if you have like, I don't know if it's a chicken or the egg situation, but like, I don't know if it's a you know, a larger percentage of black population cities that are more diverse, that end up sometimes having black mayors or black politicians. And that is what causes Trump to hate on these places. Or I don't know. It just kind of feels like every place that he's going after has like a black politician involved. Chicago, D.C., Baltimore, state of Maryland. Just something I've noticed. I don't know what that's about. You know, I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about. Now people might say, "How, Hassan, how dare you? How dare you say this? It's because these cities just happen to have a lot of crime." And it's like, okay, but the solution to that is also not necessarily a military presence. Like that's not going to fix anything. That's going to make things worse, if anything. Like, who the fuck wants to live under a military dictatorship all the goddamn time? That sucks. And secondly, it's just, he's just, you know, he's not going after red areas that also have high crime rates. It's just weirdly enough. It's just something I've noticed, you know? But once again, it's not the solution anyway. The solution is not like a military presence. I'm not saying like fucking roll the troops into Mississippi, okay?
It also threatened to withhold funds to replace Baltimore's collapsed Francis Scott Key Bridge. And the president already said Chicago will be the next city he would target for a federal deployment. Two officials have told CNN the Trump administration has been making plans to send the National Guard there for weeks. Police there have reported a 23% drop in violent crime from last year. Let's get right to CNN's Elena Treen at the White House for what appears to be, you know, we're on the cusp of an expansion here.
Absolutely. And part of this, John, is the Trump administration is loving what they're seeing happening in Washington, D.C. They are the images of the National Guard troops in the city, of you know, the federal agents from ATF, DEA, FBI, the list goes on, deployed throughout the city to help with this. Even though we're seeing, you know, we have seen, and we should note, since August 12th, about 2 weeks ago, when the president first issued this as being a national emergency, or a citywide emergency, I should say, and ordered these troops to be mobilized in D.C., there has been a moderate drop in crime. But one of the biggest things we've actually seen as a result of some of these actions has been widespread immigration raids, and really a real significant ramp up in some of the deportations we have seen in this city. But to get to what he's ordered and what we've seen now with the National Guard troops. So now we've seen them beginning to carry weapons. Like, we should note, it's, you know, unclear how many of them are actually carrying weapons at this point and how long this is going to continue. But this is a significant escalation from when the president first ordered this emergency.
I love that the media's automatic role is to like normalize everything, even if it's just like an objectively abnormal situation, right? Like, this is just not a good thing that Trump is doing. It's very clear that this is motivated by a move in the direction of like having a permanent military occupation in places that he doesn't like. Maybe he doesn't like them because there's a lot of black people there. Maybe he doesn't like it because there's a lot of, blue politicians there or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just like, he doesn't like a certain neighborhood. He doesn't like a certain city. He's sending the military there. That is objectively an insane thing to do. That is an insane thing to do in America, especially, right? But given the way that CNN approaches everything, the way that like mainstream media approaches everything, they have to like kind of find a way around it to basically normalize it. And I just don't understand how you can do that. You know what I mean? Like, this is the imperial boomerang. This is colonialism and fascism turning inward now. And these people seemingly are looking to make that at least feel more normal than it should.
Urgency in the city. At first, we had heard the Defense Department say that they were not going to be armed, that they are not going to be carrying out arrests. Now we're, of course, seeing them, a lot of them starting yesterday, having their sidearms with them as part of what this administration, this White House is saying being a peacekeeping mission, really trying to still allow some of the other federal agents to do the work. But this all comes after we also saw Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, order this last week, order that national troops could be carrying this weapons. And I would note as well, it's not just the D.C. National Guard that is currently in Washington, D.C. There's also more than 1,900 troops from the National Guards in West Virginia, South Carolina, Mississippi, Ohio, Louisiana, and Tennessee, who were called upon to help with this mission that the Trump administration has been rolling out.
And what are the plans going forward, perhaps, for other cities in other states that, just happen to have Democratic governors?
When they say the crime rate has dropped in D.C. since the military takeover, that you should just drop your journalism card at the door. Okay, you're just a mouthpiece for the administration at that point. You're a part of the propaganda ministry. Okay, DC crime rates have already been plummeting year over year. It's a 30-year low. The fuck do you mean? It's been 2 weeks. Oh my God, I can't believe in the last 2 weeks the same trend lines have continued. First of all, 2 weeks is far too short a period of time to make an accurate assessment over whether or not this has been a success. Okay? It's already incredibly stupid to just look at that insanely short sliver of time to be like, well, crime rates have gone down. Yeah, you know how people lie with statistics sometimes? Here's a great example of that. It's like saying, there has been a 100% increase of sandwiches being thrown at police officers. This is alarming. You know what I mean? This is alarming. A real crime panic has taken over. It's like, okay, so there was just like one sandwich and now there's 2 sandwiches being thrown at cops. Okay. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything at all. You're not saying anything. It's like in the last 2 weeks, crime rates have gone down. Do you not believe the CNN, Hassan? First of all, when the fuck have I ever believed CNN? What do you mean? My entire job revolves around like trying to actively tell you what is happening and what the bias framework is for even CNN and New York Times, BBC. Another great example of like lying with statistics is 7,000% increase in anti-Semitism. Why did that happen? Well, it happened because the people tracking that shit decided any sort of anti-Israel protest is now also an anti-Semitic incident. So then, of course, there's going to be a fucking massive increase. So there's another way that people lie about this shit. So